Updates. I am in the parking lot for my work again. About to start my nighttime shift on Friday night. I have been reading through the commandments and praying about them. And oddly enough, a book appeared in the middle of my floor I guess my children got into, called the Ten Commandments. It's a booklet about the Ten Commandments that I had on my bookshelf for probably 15 years, and funny, I didn't read it, and then it just appears on the floor. Some other things that happened, some very terrible things and some very good things depending on how you look at it, but I have not been able to get out of this job, my obligation to work on the Sabbath yet. I haven't had the opportunity, and I don't know if I'm going to get a specific opportunity or not. My husband did write a book, and it seems like he just recognized that a friend of his from before actually can work with him to get his book published and advertised and everything. So there's that possibility. But as far as what I'm supposed to do right now, in the meantime, I don't know. Am I supposed to just quit my job and look for another job? Am I supposed to quit school? I am 7 courses away, a couple of them being fluff courses, actually, so 5 real courses away from my bachelor's in anthropology. I already have a degree in nursing, obviously, and I'm a student of anthropology. Am I supposed to quit school? Am I supposed to do something else with my life? These are all questions that I have, and it's really hard for me to just try to guess at an answer. And at this point in my life, when I'm going on 36 years old, I can't just change everything in the middle and start from scratch. So I have to have some kind of an idea or a nudge in the direction. I'm looking for something that can tell me what I'm supposed to do. And in the meantime, here I am stuck. My pre-work sit in the parking lot. Little update. I have been trying to meditate on each different commandment and what it means. And the thing is, as far as having no gods before Yahweh, that is something that I think anybody could do. Having no graven images and not committing idolatry is something that can also be done. Again, though, is it idolatry if I'm working on the Sabbath so that I can sustain the life that I have, taking care of my children financially, paying the mortgage? Is it a form of idolatry then? See, that's a question. That's something that I meditate on a little bit. I guess that's the word you would use. I think about it a lot. As far as taking Yahweh's name in vain, I'm definitely not trying to. I'm not showcasing that I've taken on the name of Yah and walk around sinning, and I'm not bringing it to nothing. I'm not trying to say that I am a child of God in that, because I want to be. I'm trying to be, but I am not an example of what God is by any means. And then, of course, we are here at the remember the 7th day and keep it set apart, and to not do any work on the 7th day, and what that actually means, and the fact that I'm taking care of people who are sick, who The only reason why I have to come in right now is because the hospital doesn't close on the Sabbath because people take a rest from being sick and needing help. All of these questions I really don't have an answer for, and I'm looking for that answer. Beyond that, the next one is to, honor your father and your mother so you may live long in the land, you live long in the earth. What do you do when your earthly parents go against the laws of God and teach that it's okay to do that as long as you feel good about it? And what I mean by that is when, for instance, my mother has a Christmas tree and I know that it's wrong, it's clearly stated to be wrong. Moses said, don't go after the ways of the people that are driven out before you and say, how have they served their gods? We'll do this likewise. He said, don't do that. Don't learn their ways. Jeremiah describes a Christmas tree, calling it vanity and saying not to do those things. These are, what we would traditionally call pagan. But then when your mother or your father knows that and keeps these traditions fast and they say, well, God knows my heart. When Deuteronomy says that he had people wandering in the wilderness for 40 years to test them to see what's in their heart, whether or not they would obey, well, then there's a problem. How do you honor your earthly parents? How do you give them the authority when they're abusing the authority to do what they want to do as earthly people? And I am struggling with the concept, because how do I honor my earthly parents? How do I allow them as an authority figure in my life? And first of all, I'm 36. I have children. I'm married. My husband should be an authority, right? But that doesn't mean that the fifth commandment goes away. And, you could say, well, the Father is God the Father in heaven, and your mother is the set-apart spirit. Or, you can make these metaphorical inferences that aren't really metaphorical, but at the same time, in spirit and in truth, how do you actually follow that commandment when your parents would have you to break the commandments? That's a conundrum that I think a lot of people struggle with, but in any event, it's just one of those things that I'm really kind of struggling with, but I would like to do what is correct. Now, I have, since starting this a few days ago, a couple of other things have happened. Somebody who had wrongfully accused my husband and had him arrested for something he did not do, which my husband was cleared of those charges. Charges were dropped, and it was expunged from his record. But he has since admitted to lying to the police and getting him in trouble, bearing false witness, basically. And the other thing is that when I was stopped at a light, a person randomly came up to me and said, "You are still a woman of God." And although it seems like nothing, it seems just like one of those odd things that occurs that has not happened. But then suddenly, when I'm trying to follow the commandments and do what's right in order to show people that there is a blessing in following the commandments, then these things start happening. So I'm hoping that I can stay strong and do the things that I'm supposed to do. I'm waiting for an answer. I'm waiting for some kind of an idea of what it is I am supposed to be doing. Am I supposed to quit my job? Am I supposed to find a different job? Am I supposed to quit school? Am I supposed to do something else? These are all questions, and do I have the faith to do that? I think that if I was given the message from God and I knew that Yahweh is the person who sent me the message, that it's not just something that I made up in my head and I tried to apply it, that I would do that. Because I believe that if I do exactly what he says, that I will be blessed for it, and that people around me will be blessed for it, and that my faith will be stronger for it, and the world will become a slightly better place for it just because one person did what God says. Now, when it's a gray area, do I abandon people who are sick? I don't think so. Do I shirk my responsibilities as a mother and a provider for my children when we have these obligations? I don't think so. But if that is the case, then I hope that Yahweh will let me know, because I otherwise need an opportunity to get out of this. And that's where I am.